Well, hello there. Sorry I'm late. Doing some other stuff and lost track of time. Okay. All right. I see some people are on here. Great. All right. I just have to catch up with my laptop here and we'll be good to go. Sorry, one more one more second, please. I'm not the most technologically savvy. Okay, I think we got it. Can you hear? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hey, Toots, can you hear me now? Okay. All right, great. Sorry about that. Like I said, I was doing some other stuff and lost track of time, but here I am. All right. I don't even know where to begin with this. I thought I had it all under control, but apparently I don't. Let's see here. We got a bunch of people online. Yeah, hi to everybody. Got a nice group here. Wonderful. Okay, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to Lori Vaden because she and I have talked plenty about doing a demo on this, and she's given me some pointers on how she does it, and it made my life a little bit easier because I was trying to figure it out on my own, and I did get pretty much everything figured out, except she had a couple other things that worked a little bit nicer. So I'm going to share those tips with you. Lori may or may not be on here today. She was tending to her husband who had some issues, and she said if she could get on, she would. And that would be great if she could possibly answer anything that I can't. Our methods are a little different on doing a lot of things, but her barrettes are wonderful. If you've seen them on Potter People and on her group, she's very creative and makes a lot of really, really nice pieces. So let's see here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is basically show you how I put mine together, and then I will add Lori's tips in there too. And I'm working with copper, and you could certainly do it in other metals too, but copper's pretty affordable, and if I screw it up, I don't worry about it too much because it's not that expensive to work with. So what I'm doing here is I didn't realize that Potter USA puts out a pancake die to make barrettes. And if I had one of those, it would make this project a whole lot easier. But not everybody has a hydraulic press, so you can't necessarily rely on that or may not want to. So you can make a little template, which is what I did, and you can work from there. Lori sent me a copy of the template that she came up with, and it will be, a copy of that will be in your handout that you'll have after this broadcast. I could not size it, get it to size because of my my tech skills pretty much suck. But there are programs, I guess, that you can enlarge these things. So if you want to work off of her template that she made, you can do that. I made a really unsophisticated one that I could handle, and it's on the very last page of the handout, which is just graph paper, and then I traced out this oval. That is to scale for a 4-inch barrette. So, you know, if you have computer skills, you know, you can figure out a whole lot more than I can. So anyway, let's see here. I feel like I'm all over the place as usual. Okay, and we're using Barrette clips that I bought online. And Suni, you're saying you got some at Hobby Lobby? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's different sizes of these, and I've not looked for them in any of the craft stores, but maybe there are some available. These are 80 millimeters long, and I believe they're a number 9 in the Barrette world of sizes. And I will put a link to these on Amazon after I'm done with this. Hey, Bonnie! How's sunny Florida? So I'll put a link on these. But one of the interesting things when I was trying to figure out how to assemble these to the copper, I didn't realize you could take these things apart and then and not screw them up. So I was trying to work around, you know, these holes on the ends. And when I spoke to Lori, she says, well, you just take the thing apart, you know, and then you can punch your holes or whatever. It's like, oh, I can do that. Okay. So that made that part a lot easier. And I'll show you how to do that. I would suggest, if you're challenged like I am, that once you take it apart, or I don't know, I would take a picture of it and make sure I put it back together the same way. But that's me. So anyway, so what I did was, to start off, on my Word program, I didn't know how else to get this shape. I can't draw worth a damn, and I didn't have an oval template, and especially not a 4-inch oval template. So I got on my Word program, and they have these little object shape things that you can put on a blank piece of paper. And so I did that, and then I stretched it out to be the 4 inches long. And then I printed it. And then I did one better. I printed it on graph paper too. So that gives you a little bit more centering. That's what, you know, Lori did that with her template. And Lori's very precise, which is a good thing. But you know me, I kind of eyeball everything. So being precise kind of goes against everything that I am. And anyway, you can choose whichever way you want to do it. But, you know, these are options. Anyway, I printed it, and then I took a craft knife and I cut on the line. And created my own template. Okay, so that makes it easier to trace the outline. You know, you can trace the outline on your copper. So I guess what I will do is start doing it, and you guys can watch. All right, let me move the camera a little bit, and we'll get to work. Maybe. All right. Now, for some reason, my comments aren't keeping up on my laptop. Let me see here if I'm doing something wrong. Well, I don't know. All right. Okay, so what I did was I already textured some copper. I bought some texture plates and rolled them through the rolling mill, and I've got my patterns here. and I've got my template that I printed, and then I cut it out with a craft knife very carefully around the black line. I just tried to cut right on the black line. So what I'm going to do is, it depends on the kind of pattern that you have. If you want to capture, you know, certain parts of it, you know, where you would lay your template. And I'm going to just do it from the reverse because it's a little bit smoother on the back side. And let's see here. Where did I put? Oh, first of all, I didn't do what I usually do, is show you the ones that I made. And so we'll do that. And then I have a piece of copper floating around. Oh, here it is. Never mind. All right, so I just made some really simple barrettes. Lori has made some really gorgeous ones with impression dies, you know, that have, you know, faces and different patterns and things, which are really nice. But mine are basically more simple, and but they're functional just the same. This one I did, I put a little cabochon on here. This one, and this is riveted also, this bezel cup, and I'll show you how to do that. And then this one I soldered on a little piece of an embellishment of metal clay that I just happened to have, and soldered that on as well. Okay, and then this one, I just like these patterns. I think they're kind of cool. All right, let me, I have to check into this here of why my laptop is not catching up with me. Hang on just a minute. Another technical difficulty on my end, of course. All right. Well, for whatever reason, I can see the, okay, I think I've got it now. Okay. Marianne, you're asking me if I know the size I have. This is what they call an 80 millimeter or a number 9. And I would say that this is a medium size clip. I think they have small, medium, and large. So if that's what you're asking me, Marianne. Okay. All right. So anyway, these are just kind of fun things. And Lori pointed out to me, she's made them both ways, where I was having difficulty with the size rivet and the holes that they have in the barrette. Let's see here. You can see here's the holes on each end. It's a rather large hole. And the rivets, I have either like a 1/16 diameter or a 3/32 diameter, and this is larger than the 3/32. So I put a washer in there to kind of plug up that space a little bit and make it more usable. Okay, so, but Lori pointed out when she took the barrette apart, she added a hole, she punched a hole next to the large hole, so she was able to use a 1/16 rivet without any problem on here. So that was a very clever thing that she did there. I thought that was great. And then the rivet holes, you know, the head of the rivet shows on the outside, and it's in the right place. It's in the right orientation. So, I will take, let me move these here, but I just wanted to show you that the ones that I had done, and you can see Lori's either on Facebook on some of her posts, or you can visit her Etsy website, Etsy shop, I should say, and she's got a bunch of them listed there, and they're quite beautiful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'll backtrack here. I'm going to just take my copper here and trace this out. And like I said just a little while ago, I'm going to order a pancake die, a Barrette pancake die from the Potter website, and they have different ones with scallops on the outside, which I thought were kind of pretty. And this would, if you had that ability to use the hydraulic press and pancake die, that eliminates these steps that I'm doing right now. So in my world, that makes things a whole lot easier. Now I'm just going to use some metal shears, but I can cut this out on a saw if I wanted to. That will take me a little bit longer, so I'm just going to do this right now for the demo. And I'm using 22 gauge copper and metal shears, and just try to cut as straight as possible. Cut this piece off here. Those shears do a pretty good job on 22 gauge. 20 gauge would be a little bit harder on your hand to do. So I would definitely recommend the saw for that. But as I'm doing this, that pancake die sure seems a whole lot nicer. And if you cut pretty evenly, you have less filing to do. Okay, so that's cut. Get these out of the way. Get my file or sanding stick and just smooth that out. I also have a an electric sander, like a belt sander kind of thing, that would make short work of this. But that's in another room, so I'm just going to use hand tools right now. You can use a metal file too if you have that. Either one is fine. And I was a little crookedy with those scissors, just on this end, but not bad. Sometimes when you have little flaws, little defects on the edges, if you haven't cut quite right, you can what I call decal your edges a little bit, which kind of hides those little flaws, which would basically be just taking the ball peen part of your chasing hammer and you just tap it along the edge. It gives it a nice little decorative finish. That's still bad right there. The belt sander would make short work of that. But this actually hides a little bit of defects. So that works for me. And that's where we started. So I don't know if you can tell that or not on the edge, you know, to see that in the camera. But that kind of makes that look a little bit nicer. All right, so then the next thing, well, I want to get rid of that Sharpie marker on the side here, on the reverse side. All right, then I'm going to give this a little bit of a curve. I can actually press that down somewhat. And this is the mammoth size dapping block. Okay, that gives that a nice little curve. All right. So that's that. All right, now I'm going to take the barrette apart, and you just squeeze to open it up, and then there's two little notches that that this piece fits into. I'm just gonna push that apart just a little bit with my fingers and pull this out. Okay, and then there's another little piece, this piece right here, and take that out. So then this is the piece that you're going to rivet to the copper piece. However, I want to stop there and let's see here. I had cut an oval out, oval, round, whatever, whatever you have, and then I've got a bezel cup here. This is an 8mm bezel cup, and that's how I constructed, let's see here, this one, basically. And I wanted to attach the bezel cup to my piece here, and then I'm going to attach that to this. I would do that at this point before I attach the bezel, the hair clip. Okay, hang on just a second here. See, there's a bunch of comments on here that are on my phone that are not showing up on my laptop. So I can't read the comments unless I orient the camera up this way. All right. Oh, a lot more people on here. Hello, hello. All right, Lori's on. That's good. Hi, Lori. Yeah. Oh my, lots of questions. Or comments, I should say. All right. Hang in there. It just keeps coming back. Why isn't this showing up? I hate when this happens. Okay. All right. I just wanted to see if I was missing anything. Lori, I'm glad you're here. If there's any questions that you want to direct to Lori, please feel free to do so at any time. And maybe she can answer them when I can't see your questions. All right. Are we back here okay? All right. So I am going to put a little hole in this bezel cup, and I marked it, and I'm going to use my Euro tool puncher here, hole puncher, and I'm going to go into the 1/16 hole size and hopefully punch that straight. I mounted my my punch on here on my vise, and that way I can get in there real well. Let's see here. And just turn that. And as soon as you feel the metal break through, you can back up and get your piece out. And that made a hole in the bezel cup. All right, back this way. Now I'm going to get a rivet for that. Well, actually, I need to mark where I want to place this on here. And there again, with my eyeballing, I can actually use my grid on my work surface here to find the center. Right there. All right, and then I'll punch my hole there. And not that you really need to see me do this, but line that up here. And I've got my hole. All right, so now I need to pick out a rivet. And I don't need a very long one. So I think too many to choose from here. I think the 3/32 would be a good size. So I'll put this rivet these little tiny things are hard to hold on to. Okay, so there's the rivet. And for, well, maybe I'll go a little bit longer. That seems a little bit short. All right, so I'm putting back the 3/32 length, and I think I'm going to get a 1/8. Give me a little bit more to work with here. This part right here doesn't have anything to do really with constructing a barrette, but if you wanted to put a bezel cup in here, this would be the time to do it. Okay. So, oh, I didn't make my hole in here. This is the next thing. Sorry. I should have marked the hole while the bracelet was flat. All right, so in my eyeballing, all right, so I'm going to put the hole in here. I marked the wrong side. You have to do it on the flat side because you'll just dent it if you try to punch a hole when the metal is curved. So this is another feature that's really nice to use this hole puncher, this Euro tool hole puncher, because it fits just about any size metal that you want to put in here. Okay, that's that. All right. All right, so now I get to put it all together. And there again, this 1/8 size might be a little short now that I've got all these pieces that I want to put together. So from 1/8, then I would go up to 5/32. That might be a little long, I don't know. We'll find out. So put that through there. This I also should, well, no, I don't have to. Well, maybe I will give it just a little bit of a dap, just to give it a little bit of a curve to kind of match up. There we go. Okay, that's better. All right, so now I'm going to put this part through here and that part through there. And my rivet is going crookedy on me. There we go. Okay, now to get this riveted and hold it all in place, this is how I do it. I'm get my trusty dap set punches, and I'm going to set my bezel cup, or set this on top of, got the bezel cup inside here, underneath. If you can see that, I hope. Okay, so the bezel cup is nested in this dapping punch right here. And I'm going to take a center punch and put it on top. It's a balancing act, guys. Maybe I don't have the right size. Okay. I'm going to do this again. When I did it before, it was not so wonky. But it does work. Just bear with me. Awkward silence. All right. Actually, it looks like that rivet could be a little bit longer. That might be better. I need another hand. Okay, that. I think a longer rivet is necessary. This is just a little bit too difficult to hold on to. But that seems, from 5:30 seconds, my next one up I guess is 3/16. Yes, 3/16 is my next choice. See, the problem with the rivet tool, using the rivet tool, is that you're using the, I'm using the hang on. Okay, it shouldn't be this difficult, but it's a matter of positioning everything and holding it together. And once that rivet starts to flare, this is too long. No, it shouldn't be. We'll do this again. We just want to get the rivet starting to flare. And then we can pound the crap out of it without, yeah, that's just, that one is too long. In theory, this is a great idea. In execution, not so much. All right. Let's just see if I can get this in here. I didn't want to crush the bezel cup, but I guess I did all that for nothing, because this seems like it will work, at least for a little while. All right. I split my tube down here a little bit. It'll work, damn it. Well, I knock everything else off the table. And I just hit my bezel cup. Oh dear. Okay. Well, this is an abomination. This one is not. I bent my bezel cup, which is a small wonder. Oh. All right. All right, well, this is not good. So I'm just going to cut this off because that didn't work. You see, guys, stuff happens. All right. Let me regroup here. How embarrassing. How utterly embarrassing. All right. Yeah. Okay, let's just forget about that for right now. And let's just all right. Well, you know, I can see right here that I missed the mark. This doesn't excuse what I just did, but I just see that I put the hole in the wrong place where I'm looking at my mark here when I turned it over. I guess there is something to be said about measuring, huh? All right, let me, I'm going to see if I can resurrect this piece somehow. The hole, I don't think will matter. That, I dropped my Allen wrench, just a minute. Okay. right. The thing that I'm putting on it, the little embellishment that I'm putting on it, is going to cover that anyway, so I don't think that that is going to matter so much. I don't have another bezel cup out here. So what I'm going to do is just put a rivet through here. Oh, I spilled all my rivets on the table. You could even put some other little embellishments, like a bead cap that you've pounded flat. You could put that on here as an embellishment if you wanted to. You know, there's a variety of things that you could do if you wanted to. All right. That's kind of small too, kind of short. Sorry, you guys. I'm just a little discombobulated. But we'll get through it. Okay, so I'm going to use the rivet tool. And this is the 1/16 that I'm placing. Okay, so that's on there. And you're not going to see that other hole that I punched. Oh, I don't have the camera pointed down. You're not going to see the boo-boo that I made here, because the barrette clip is going to cover that. All right, my workspace is getting to be a mess. All right, so I took this clip apart. And I am going to show you, if you don't have the larger rivets, you can pop a hole right next to, where's my pointer, where the original hole is here. You can put a little hole here and a little hole there, and you can put the 1/16 rivets in there. When you punch a hole in this metal, I don't know what kind of metal this is, but it's very stiff, although you can cut it with shears. I did try that. Lori was saying that she filed these edges and made them a little bit smaller and rounded them. So I did cut it on this one end. I cut it with shears and it cut fine. If you try to punch a hole in here with the hole punch, you know, like a 2-hole punch, it does make a hole, but it like springs. I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you so that you know what I'm talking about. Let me mark where I want to put the hole. All right. It like pops right out of your hand. It's very strange. Maybe come in from this way because I can't see. Okay. Well, I held on to it so it didn't happen, but it makes the hole just fine like that. That's if you want to use the 1/16 size rivets. Okay. Okay, so now I've got an additional, a smaller set of holes on here that I could use. Okay, so now I need to mark where I need to put my rivets on here. And this is where Lori gets real precise and I'm not. I got a little bit too much curve in here. But this is basically, I'm showing you this because, I mean, you can certainly do whatever you want to do. But this key part was taking this thing apart and punching this extra hole. I thought was genius on Lori's part. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and punch the hole for this one. All right. And I'm going to get my rivet. And here again, I spilled them all over the place, so I think I'll go with the 1/16 diameter and it's 1/8 inch length on this one. And get my rivet tool. Okay, so that end is on this rivet. And I don't generally do the second hole until I've done the first one on the riveting, because there's just something that sometimes moves when you're doing the rivets. It's like if you punch all your holes ahead of time, sometimes things don't line up right. So I try to do them as needed. Get this second hole punched. Okay. And get another rivet. I didn't punch that hole real clean. It should have, but it's a little bit, I can see it's a little bit messy in there. Okay. All right, get the rivet tool again. Rivet tool is a neat thing to have. It can get in spaces where your hammer can't get in. Okay. Okay, so that's that. And then we can put the barrette back together. Where'd my pieces go? Oh, they're right here. If you remember right. They should slip back inside here. I could have this backwards, I don't know. I'll find out. The best thing is to look. Oh dear. To look at another one and see. No, I have it upside down, I guess. Okay. That's the tricky part. Okay, so it goes like this. I had it upside down. And I kind of bent these open a little bit so I had better access to them. So I want to just gently bring that back. Same with this one. I bent that too far, I guess. You can always tweak things a little bit. Back too far. There we go. Okay, so that's a barrette. It was a little hairy there for a while. And it just springs open. I bent them out too far. That's what I did. There we go. There we got the snap that I wanted. Good. Okay, so this is very plain and simple, but it worked. By putting those two little extra holes in there, you could use the 1/16 rivets. And if you wanted to use the larger ones, if you have 3/32 rivets, you could do that. But you would also need to add a washer like this. These washers, this is a number 2 flat washer. FW02 is the name, and where did I get them from? Micro Findings, I think it was, or Micro Fasteners. I think that's the name of it. Micro Fasteners. I'll make sure that I have the right name for you on there. You can also do eyelets if you have eyelets. These work. These are 3/32 eyelets that I use a lot in the hanging hole, like in my enamel pieces and different pieces. This is a good size right here. And these number 2 washers, they fit with the number 2 washer. And got something on my pliers there, or tweezers, I mean. You would just put that. You would actually put, let me show you here. If you were going to use the larger hole, you would put your 3/32 rivet or washer, rivet or eyelet through the hole there, but the hole is still a little bit larger, and that's why you would need a washer. You could put a washer right on top of that, and then that will cover up any area in the loose area, so that the rivet will actually tighten up right on top of that washer, and it will go through, it won't slip through the hole that way. So that's another option if you don't want to make smaller holes. That's an option. All right, let me see here. All right. Lori says, I just put a rivet hole in a piece of metal, then use the disc cutter with the hole centered. Okay. I mean, we all have our different ways of doing things, I guess. I just, I wouldn't have come up with the jig, for one thing, the template that Lori made. And I think it's a nice addition. To be precise, especially if you're selling your work, you want to make sure that everything is nice and even. That's up to you. This is basically just what I'm doing is just to show you how you can construct it, and then you know, you can do whatever you want with it. Let's see here. Lori, not everything works perfectly for me anytime. I get lucky sometimes, but there's a lot of things that I kind of screw up. But you know, you learn as you're screwing up. So, yeah, Tammy, it's the Ring doorbell. Yeah, that's what that is. That little celestial ringtone is the Ring. We just put that in a couple weeks ago, and I really like it because I'm down here a lot and I can't see who's at the door, and sometimes it's just delivery, and I don't want to go all the way up there and then find out, you know, that nobody was there. So let's see. I want to see if I can catch up with comments and stuff, because, like I said, my laptop is not cooperating. I would hate to miss any questions. Yeah, the first the first hole that I punched was a 1/16 hole, and let's see here. I don't know why this keeps coming back up here. Okay, well, I don't know. As far as being able to see your comments, I can't see too much. So I can see some of these on the phone and some of them not. So, I mean, I thought I saw them, but it just keeps scrolling back to the original ones, or the first ones. So, all right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, you can embellish them as much as you want. I have to revisit what I did with the bezel cup, because I did this one before without any difficulty at all. But making mistakes like this keeps you humble, I guess, you know. Because that's not a difficult thing to do at all as far as getting this on here. So I don't know why I was struggling with that, but I did. And you got to see it. So let's see here. Do you have any other questions? I'm sure that, yeah, Fran, I'll put whatever references or links I have to the whatever I'm using on the page when I'm done, and there will also be a handout that has a little bit. It has everything that I covered without the mistakes. So there you go. And it might be a little bit easier for you to follow than me fumbling around here, but it's got all the steps that I did, plus Lori's template and my little rinky dink one there on the back. But you can make them however long. This is just what I chose, the 4 inches, but you can make them longer or shorter. It's entirely up to you, or you can make them wider or skinnier, just as long as you can get your barrette clip in there, you know, that would work. So, and I tested these out with my daughter. She's got long, thick hair, and she wore them for me, and they didn't slip out or anything, so I thought that was really good. And also, you can patina these. You can do the whole thing, and then, you know, dip it in liver of sulfur. It doesn't affect the clip at all. You can clean it up with steel wool and then stick it in the tumbler. That's fine. The only caution I would use is if you're going to set a stone in it, do all that tumbling and stuff before you put your stone in. Some stones you can tumble without any problem, some you can't. So you could always set the stone last, which is probably a great idea anyway. And you can get little fancy bead caps and flatten them out and put them underneath the rivet as well if you wanted to do that. Or you could do some really fancy ones like Lori does with the impression dies. She's got some spectacular ones. So check out her Etsy site if you would. I'm going to put a link to that in the handout and in the group. So let's see here. Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm not seeing any more comments. They just keep scrolling over and over again. So hopefully I can see this. If you have questions, put it on the group page, and we'll try to address those there. So next week, I'm not certain. It'll either be these earrings that are made with metal clay. These are a 3 different layers of metal clay design, which are lightweight and they're kind of fun. You can make them in different shapes. These are just the little triangular ones. So I'll either do that, or I've got this kind of fun wrap around. It's a 3-wrap beaded bracelet. You could actually even make this a necklace if you wanted, but the idea is to wrap it around 3 times and then have a clasp on it, a little ball and socket clasp. It's pretty simple to do. And let's lower the camera down here a little bit. so you can see it a little bit better. This is pretty quick and easy. It's just kind of a fun thing. I've made them in a couple of different colorways like this, but that would make a fun necklace as well if you wanted to do it that way. So I may do that one next week, or the clay earrings. I'm not really certain, but it could be either one. All right, guys, I guess that's it for today. I apologize for my flubs, and I get to watch it later and humiliate myself. So gotta laugh though, you know, gotta laugh. All right. Okay, I'll be posting the instructions or the handout in just a little bit. All right. So take care, guys. See you on the group page. Bye-bye.